and you're listening to my favorite talk show, The Weekly Show with Aditya.
On this overcast/humid Friday morning, I welcome you to episode number 418 on the 17th of September 2021. Captaincy in sports is usually a superficial position. In a majority of sports, the captain is only for namesake and just to have someone who can take a few decisions. But there is one sport in which the captain, whether it's the women's division or the men's division or any other division, the captain is an important entity. In fact, all the decisions, when the team wins, the captain is praised. When the team loses, all his decisions, tactical, the playing 11, and other things are questioned, autopsied, what not. Cricket is the only sport where the captain's record makes a difference as to should he or she continue, should there be a new individual, and this is what has captured the headlines over the past 24 hours. Those who have been following pseudo media, print media, electronic media, or wherever you get your information on this sport from, you must have heard that a current captain who is the captain in all formats. That's also one interesting thing about the sport, that you have formats and every format has a different requirement, but more on that later. So the current Indian captain who is captaincy in all formats has decided to quit the 20 over version in terms of captain post the 20 over World Cup. And a few critics and a few self obsessed egoists, I won't name them, you'll know who they are, who were gunning for him to be removed or he himself resigning from that position and having another individual. Why? Because the one they wanted had won 5 domestic titles versus 0 titles for the current captain. And then also, he would have felt the pressure of the mentor of the team who has 3 world titles to his name. So he has 8-0 against him. No world title as yet, no world test championship title, no ODI championship title despite reaching the semi-finals and the final respectively. So this could be his last chance, as the term goes, to have a good impact as far as the white ball version is contained. But we shall talk about that later as to did the individual have to announce it in such a manner, and that too on pseudo media. I saw the message or the whatever it was, that I'm resigning because of XYZ reasons. Is there pressure from inside, outside, pseudo critics, critics with inflated egos who never had a cordial relationship with him, and who thought that the player who has won 5 domestic titles for his team, Mumbai Super Kings, should be given the captaincy, even though that individual is now in his late 30s. You'd be wondering, late 30s, big deal. Let me tell you, in sports, if you are 35, 36, that's nearly the end of your career. Unless you can go on, or unless it's professional wrestling or mixed martial arts or something, but that's a different story, a different requirement. But that's how you must have heard. The first page of every newspaper had this headline. Those who waste their time on pseudo media must have got this message. Even if you don't follow it, it must have got millions of tweets and retweets and reactions and top trending and all that stuff. Whatever it is, it's happened. Is it a decision taken by the person on his own, or were there discussions, but it was given an impression that the decision was taken on his own and not pressured by his employer, that is the governing body, and the individual whom everyone wants to be the captain? We don't know. That shall be known at a later stage, and that we shall discuss in another episode. But let's get to the crux of what is on the breakfast menu for this morning's episode. Multiplex versus singleplex. Cinema has been a source of entertainment for decades, whether it was theater before it became an audio-visual passive medium. Theater was an active medium where we were involved with the actors, the plot, the story, and everything, where the applaud actually felt real because we were looking at real people performing. It became an audio-visual medium and we started watching it through a screen, and then came the concept of singleplex, and then moving on to the idea of multiplex. I don't see much of a difference. So there are a few emotional individuals who see this whole multiplex, singleplex story, but let's get more into the depth of this. So cinema is 99% entertainment, and the other 1% is often on social issues or story on real life characters. But no one cares. Too much of social issues can make the story boring, can get you to yawn. Yes, you want to worry about social issues, but there is already so much conversation on social issues, and we know what those issues are. You read in magazines, you see it to individuals fake fighting on pseudo media, you see it on television, discussions, and for other reasons. So nobody wants that. Yes, 1% is there because that's what the writer of the movie wants, and that's how that's to generate some kind of affinity for the movie. But let's get to this whole idea of single versus multiplex. When we say singleplex, the term is simple. That's one screen showing one movie at a time. And for a long time in the world, singleplexes dominated, which means one movie, good quality movie, that's what people thought. And then as soon as the multiplex came in, which means there were 5 or 6 screens, which means there were multiple options. If you didn't like A, you went to B, C, D, E, F, so on and so forth. And then the story came in that singleplexes theaters were beginning to be marginalized, ignored. Nobody was going there. They were losing on revenue. They were becoming dilapidated like a haunted house, and there were reports that singleplexes, which formed the basis of cinema, were beginning to be demolished. And then came the two E's. Singleplexes bring out emotion because one movie focused, multiplexes more options for the elite, and then came The situation of single plexes were economy, the tickets were simple, and as I read in an article, single plexes or that kind of cinema hall were about the movie and not about the option. That is, you didn't have the option where you could have in theater dining. Literally, you press a button and somebody comes and serves it to you. I don't see what's wrong in that. This whole emotion versus elite thing is just hogwash and an absurd theory with no logic. But that's the way it is. I've been to both singleplex and multiplex. I've seen, but it doesn't mean that just because there is singleplex, the movie that comes out is of good quality. Not all movies that come out are of good quality, and good quality can mean a lot of things. There's a story, there's a plot, there's a beginning, there's a middle, there's an end, there's a logical conclusion to the end of the story. Eventually, the movie has to end where the protagonist has to win, or there's a story in terms of relationships where relationships there's a happy ending. It doesn't happen in real life. That's why we all watch cinema, which is mostly fictional and a part of our psyche, which we want over there, with things which cannot happen in real life. We want to see through either theater or through audio visual medium. This whole expensive versus economy. Okay, multiplexes are expensive, but then they give you the service, and I don't see what is wrong with having 5 6 options. Don't we have over 300 digital channels? Don't we have over 10 12 digital cable networks, also erroneously known as OTT? I don't agree with that, but we call it over the top. I disagree with it. And then let me tell you, if you missed a movie once upon a time in the cinema hall, which in the era of singleplex, let's go with that, then it's fine because the movies would be broadcasted in your home, whether you had one channel or a million channels. And then VCRs have been there for a long time. Since the 50s, 60s, VCRs, the cassettes have existed. So after 5 6 months or a year, if you miss the movie would be there. Options are good. And then there was 9 to 12, 6 to 9. Nobody wants to watch a 3-hour movie. Sometimes a 90-minute movie is also fine. The shorter the movie, the better the focus. The longer the movie, and then we all know what an Indian movie comprises: 5 6 songs of 40 minutes each, 4 5 minutes of unnecessary credit, 10 minutes of post credit where we have to give thanks to every individual involved, the actor, director, producer, editor, whoever it is. So there are different styles. But 40 minutes of songs, and sometimes when you don't know what to do with the movie, you just add emotions and whatever. But I don't see anything wrong in multiplex. I've been to both, and multiplex, yes, there are options. You may feel, and then, of course, in the singleplex, and in 30 years ago, you could go to a cinema hall and buy a ticket 5 minutes before the movie. It's fine. I still won't do that. But now they don't give tickets on the spot because of obvious irrational reasons, but we have to accept it. So we have to book it. There's nothing wrong. I've been booking tickets for the past 10 years, so there's nothing special about booking tickets and having e-tickets or collecting the ticket from the cinema hall after booking in another method. But booking a ticket has been going on for a while, and multiplexes do not impact the singleplexes. They do not impact the quality. Even if a few individuals rattle on about good old day generation of quality cinema, not all cinema, not all movies or cinema was quality just because it was one theater, or now versus the contemporary spoiled generation for choice cinema. If you have 6 choices, then nothing wrong. You choose one, a month later you watch another one. It's cinema, it's entertainment. Let's not get too socially emotional about it. even if there are social issues, let's not get too much, because there is enough conversation about social issues on every aspect, and after a while you don't want to hear about it. If there's parody on the social issues, if there's some kind of black humor, that's fine. And then comes the interior. I have seen both the interior of a single plex and a multiplex. Who doesn't want plush chairs, good quality soundproofing material, good quality uh, the sound effects, the Dolby, everyone wants it. That makes the cinema experience better. Yes, versus dilapidated wooden insected infested chairs. We thought it was a part of the history of cinema. I think we are gullible if we are to say that sitting in rickety old chairs which can break anytime, infested, the stairs were broken, and we have seen things, it's fine. And there's of course home theater, because as I said, VCR was always an option, buying the cassettes of the movie, seeing it in your home and playing and pausing anytime. Then we moved on to DVDs. It's the same. Instead of CDs, we had CDs. Then we went to cable network, because movies still come on the cable networks, the cable channel. It still comes till today. The old movies also, you can pause and play. The only difference is that you have one break. As far as the cinema is concerned, you have multiple ad breaks, which makes a 3-hour movie become a 4-hour movie. We thought that 4 hour movie is a matter of pride. Maybe it was, but no, it's not. The shorter the movie, the better the quality. You don't want a movie more than 2 hours, maximum 130 minutes, depending on the nature of the story and everything. And lesser the songs, the better it is. One song, background music, the song having some kind of logic with the story, it makes sense. And that's how it should be. And then we moved on to digital cable networks. If you look at the movies, a lot of movies are 30-40 years old. Something I may have missed, and something the critics may have said poor quality or not worth watching as far as in cinema is concerned, because with VCRs, DVDs, and digital cable network, you can pause and play, you can fast forward the over the top scenes, and that's how it should be. Emotions are going to fly fast and high, but that's what the whole idea of this discussion between single and multiplex is. Yes, singleplex had their days, but if they could not sustain, they should have adapted to the newer models. Even despite having one movie option, they could have done something new. They could have redecorated the interior, they could have made it more attractive. They could have said, yes, there's one movie, but we'll give you a private viewing experience in another theater. Instead of mourning that, oh no, multiplexes have come, they have taken over, they have destroyed single plexes, it doesn't work. Just like people say that due to digital cable networks, the DTH is going away, it's not going away. Just like we say that due to mobile phones, the landlines are going away, they are not going away, it's a state of mind. Both can survive. So, yes, both singleplex and multiplex can survive, provided singleplex owners and managers can do something novel as far as the viewing experience is concerned. Even if it's one movie, just make it different. Instead of saying, yeah, we are departing, we don't have it, try something different. Instead of getting too emotional, or have two theaters, one for private, one for public. Even if you increase the ticket cost, nobody will mind as long as there's quality. So let's not get too hyped up on the good old days, because such things don't work. And if you think that because of one technology, the previous technology is going away, it's only a state of mind. And that is where we have to come out of. So this ends episode number 418 on the 17th of September 2021. I will be back for the next episode, so stay tuned.
For more awesome content, tune in to the next episode of the weekly show.
And next on this popular talk show is episode number 419 on the 20th of September 2021.